Alright, let's dive into how each zodiac sign behaves when the sparks start flying in arguments. Trust me, it's a wild ride full of relatable twists and turns. Starting with Aries. Oh boy, you'll know when an Aries is in an argument. They're the gladiators of the zodiac, charging in without a second thought. Picture this. They're ready to go toe-to-toe from the get-go, fists flying and fire in their eyes. Whether it's a love squabble or a spat with a friend, they're passionate and direct. They'll say, "Let's settle this right now," no holding back. But once it's over, they can switch back to their cheerful selves almost immediately. After all, they believe in going hard, then moving on, like a spirited game of dodgeball. Now, let's paint a picture of Taurus in an argument. A Taurus can be a stubborn rock, really. They're not the type to explode, though. Instead, they dig in their heels and lay down the foundation for a long, drawn-out debate. Imagine them, arms crossed, rolling their eyes during a conversation, saying, "I see your point, but I really don't care." They'll keep bringing up the same issue until it's addressed to their satisfaction. Their friends and family often find themselves saying, "Can't we just agree to disagree?" But deep down, a Taurus just wants security and comfort, so they might avoid confrontation altogether if they sense it could upset the status quo. Then there's our Gemini. Arguing with a Gemini can be quite the spectacle. These air signs are all about communication, until they start to feel overwhelmed. One moment they're bright and chatty, and the next they're throwing some clever wordplay right back at you. Picture a Gemini making a witty remark, like, "Well, I guess you've made a case for why I shouldn't listen." They'll throw out their best verbal jabs, but if things get heated, they might just switch to playing devil's advocate. Their partner in love may end up feeling exhausted, thinking, "Did we really have an argument, or just a lively discussion?" Now, Cancer. When it comes to arguing, they can be emotional ocean waves. They might not yell, but oh, the tears can flow. Picture them backing away from an argument with a sad pout, saying, "Why don't you care about my feelings?" Cancers tend to pull out the silent treatment card, retreating to their safe shell until you've had time to think about how you've wronged them. Friends and family might feel the vibe shift, wondering if they've suddenly entered a soap opera. But once they do express themselves, they'll be vulnerable and sincere, often wanting reassurance and affection to close the bruised feelings. Next up, we have Leo. Arguing with a Leo is like stepping into a royal court. They want to be treated like the king or queen they know they are. If a disagreement arises, expect them to exclaim, "You don't talk to royalty like that." They're dramatic, possibly turning a small issue into an Oscar-worthy performance. But at the heart of that golden throne is a desire for respect. You might find your Leo stomping off in a flare of irritation, but don't worry. It's all about regaining that sense of admiration. Virgos, on the other hand, take a more analytical approach. When arguing, they're like skilled debaters. They'll pull out facts, figures, and maybe even a few spreadsheets. Imagine them saying, "Actually, statistically speaking, I'm right." Their love for logic can sometimes come across as a bit cold, and they may miss emotional cues. In conflicts with friends or family, it's easy for them to sound nitpicky or overly critical. They just think they're being helpful. But when they do admit they're wrong, it's a sigh of relief, and you can almost hear them say, "Fine, I'll accept my faults, but only if you admit you're a little bit flawed too." Now for Libra. Their conflict style is all about maintaining harmony. During arguments, they weigh both sides like a skilled legislative judge. Picture them saying, "Can we see this from both perspectives?" They'll bend over backward to find a compromise, sometimes to the point where they start to sound indecisive. Friends might catch them flipping sides mid-argument, and it's not unusual for them to end up apologizing just to restore peace. "Sorry, I know I said I agreed with you, but maybe, let's just agree to disagree." Their heart wants everyone to be happy, even if it means they don't get their way. Scorpius? Oh man, they turn arguments into a game of emotional warfare. They're intense, secretive, and not afraid to get under your skin. Picture this. Someone trying to reason with a Scorpio, while they nod slowly, plotting their comeback with a smirk that reads, "You have no idea what I'm truly thinking." They can be quite vindictive, but they also have a passionate side that's fiercely loyal. They won't forget a betrayal, and in love, They may even intuitively push your buttons to see how far you'll go. So, if you're on their bad side, just run. Now let's not forget Sagittarius. Their style is like the wild card of the zodiac. When arguments arise, they often leap before they look. They'll take an enthusiastic stance, saying something like, "Why can't we just be happy about this?" Their go-to strategy is to lighten the mood, even if it means glossing over deeper issues. But if they feel boxed in, they might just flee the scene. Literally. A classic Sagittarius move is to take a spontaneous trip just to avoid resolving conflict. "I'm not dealing with this. I'm off to new adventures." After a little space, they often return with a more open mind, ready to discuss eventually. Capricorns, however, prefer a more serious approach. They take arguments like projects, methodically and with an air of authority. You might hear them say something like, "Let's set aside some time to discuss this rationally." Friends may find themselves thinking, "When did talking about our disagreements get so structured?" It's all about pragmatism for them, but they can come across as overly critical sometimes. However, when they're in a committed relationship, they do value finding resolution because harmony means stability, something deeply valued by a Capricorn. Aquarius brings a unique flavor to arguments. They're the unconventional thinkers who might throw a curveball into the mix. During disagreements, they can appear detached, saying, "Why are we even arguing about this?" They tend to focus on the broader picture rather than getting lost in emotions. Imagine them proclaiming, "Can't we just agree we're both right in our own way?" Friends might roll their eyes, finding it hard to get them to take things seriously, especially in moments of high tension. But when they care, they'll engage deeply in discussions to make sense of the chaos. Finally, there's Pisces. Sweet, sensitive Pisces. When arguments surface, they often retreat into their dreamy world, whispering, "Everything is fine. Let's just be happy." You might catch them giving the silent treatment or becoming emotional whirlwinds, channeling their feelings through artistic expression. They want to avoid confrontation at all costs, sometimes leading to misunderstandings. Their loved ones may find it frustrating but endearing when they utter, "Can we just forget about all this and cuddle?" Honestly, how can you stay angry at someone who just wants to escape to their own little universe? So there you have it, a peek into how each zodiac sign handles arguments. Are you starting to see the patterns in your own life or your relationships based on these descriptions? I mean, it's like we all have our cosmic styles that can make or break a good old-fashioned dispute. If you enjoyed this journey through the astrological arena, be sure to subscribe for more zodiac insights and let me know in the comments how you or your friends handle arguments. I'd love to hear your stories. Until next time, keep those stars shining brightly in your life.